Hi, I'm Matt Emick, and this is Daniel Sterling. We're representing Team Paul Mitchell. We'd like to welcome you to Rock Solid Synchronized Team Forms. On this video, we're going to give you some tips on how to stay synchronized and how to create a winning team form.
Okay, me and Matt, we got started in 2002. We've been doing team forms for about 3 years now. We actually won our first national competition together, and that's based on how well we work together. When you're choosing a partner, you really want someone that's going to complement you and you're going to complement them. Your movements need to be very similar, where not in the sense of, okay, we're both doing chop, punch, but in the sense that we look alike when we're doing these movements. When we did our team form for the first time, the first thing we heard was, you guys look so great together. And you move the same, you're just as clean as each other, your speeds were good together, that type of thing. So that's one of the keys to our success and some of the things that we're going to go through on this video. So the next thing we're going to work on is going to be timing, some speed drills, and how to stay together as a team.
One of the ways we stay together is by breathing. On each punch and chop, we're letting out air. We're going. That will help us stay together because we can hear each other breathing, and that will help us stay together. I'm going to teach you a basic combination: chop, punch, switch punch, spin, chop, punch. Now to help us stay together, we're going to breathe out. So I'm going to do it again. And let's do it together. And the breathing is going to help us stay together. Ready? And ha! All right, now let's do it again.
Okay, now another way of staying together is also listening. By listening to the rhythm in which you're moving. Okay, you can hear sound effects from locking out a chop, from locking out a punch, from the stances that you're hitting. So another thing that we're doing along with this breathing technique is we're listening. I can hear every time he takes a step. So that lets me know that I need to be on that same mark at that same time. So another thing is knowing that the timing on when you want to hit a technique. So we both have to understand this timing and then both live by this timing in order for us to stay together. Because if I'm set on this one timing and then he's thinking a different timing, we're going to clash. We're not going to look right together. So when we're doing our techniques, it's very important that we understand that, okay, we're going to lock this punch out on that foot. So now we know that when we do that technique, that when I hear that sound, I need to be done with that technique. When we get to the next one, same thing. So another way of doing that is also by spiking harder into the floor. So when we're doing this technique, we're not just going, because now I'm not generating that rhythm. I'm not creating any sound for him to flow off of or for me to flow off of. So we want to do these techniques hard and lock them out at the same time, giving the audience and the judges time to register what we're doing. The faster we move, okay, the harder we're going to have to stick so that it's more apparent of what we're doing. So we're going to demonstrate again without breathing this time. And what we're going to do is just do the combination. I'm going to cue and we're going to just go through the whole combination without breathing. And we're going to stay together by simply listening to each other, the movement of our feet, the placement, the timing on the lockout. And we're set. Ha! Okay, now as you can hear, when we hit together. And you can actually tell by listening to the way our feet hit the ground. The same timing that we're talking about here and the same listening that we're doing from us hitting the ground together. It's not like an off time where I'm hitting, Matt's hitting, or Matt's hitting, then I'm hitting. It's us both at the same time. We're generating more noise, which at the same time, when we first started doing forms together, we didn't use music for this exact point. We wanted everyone to see that we were synchronized and also be able to hear that we were synchronized. You can really, it's kind of like we gave ourselves an advantage, but we gave ourselves a disadvantage. If we were off, it was very easy for you to tell because there would be a 1, 2. You'd hear that sound. But At the same time, if we're on, we're on. You know we're on. You can't take that away from us because everything we're doing is going off of sound and everyone can hear what's going on around us.
Another way to stay together is by ki-ing. If you use too much breathing throughout your form, it's going to make the form a little less intense. By using I ta ya ya ta I sa, it will make the form more intense and you will still stay together with your partner. Let's demonstrate. Set and hi ya ta ta ya ya. And one more time. And hi ya ta ta ya ya.
Okay, another important aspect of staying together is what we call cueing. Now, a cue is what we would do to start off a combination. So when we showed you this combination, we would cue and then we would go. So we know exactly when to start. Something very important about cueing is to know that if you're the cuer, then you always know when you're going to say that cue. Your partner may not. You may decide that you want to pause a little more at that point. So then you know exactly when you're going to, but your partner doesn't. So you got to remember not to cue and move. You remember that you cue, then move, because you got to give your partner time to register, okay, now we're ready to go. Okay, now when you're doing cues, you want to kind of make them noticeable but unnoticeable at the same time. Like you don't want to be like, okay, go, and then we go and do something, and then we pause at the point where we know we pause at. You don't want it to be something like that. Now what we do is we use a kia, but we use different kias. Throughout our form, we may just use all types of different kias, and then when we finish something, it's always a big kia. Now, what lets us know to move on to the next technique is the specific sound. What we do is we just go ha. Okay, when we do this, it's real short, and at the same time, we don't want it to be super loud that everyone's picking up on it, you know? So we'll finish a combination, and then we'll be like ha, and then we know to move to the next combination, okay? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna demonstrate that and just give you an example of what we mean. So we're gonna key out throughout our whole performance, again, keeping in mind that we're moving off of the sound of motion, okay, the timing of our feet, the timing of our movements. Same time, we're going to use kias instead of breathing to keep it more intense. And we're set. Ha! 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 Ah! We'll demonstrate that again. Set. Ha! Ta! 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 Ah! Ha! Ta! And I ta! Okay, again, these are just some of the tips that we're giving you that we do. You know, these are things that we do on an everyday basis. When you watch us perform, if you think about what we explained here today, then you'll be able to put them into perspective. You'll see where in our forms that we did these things, like the cueing. Okay, you're always going to see where there's a point that we're both stopped at the same time, and then you'll see one of us move our mouths, and then that's the cue. We're going. That, you know, that's a sign to move on. Okay, keep in mind that it's not just one of these things that we're using, it's pretty much all of them. The timing of movement, the sound effects that we're creating, you know, and another thing is just knowing your partner. I know his limits, he knows my limits. I know his strengths, he knows my strengths. You know, that gives us an advantage as far as what we do in the long run. Okay, now we're gonna move on, and what we're gonna do is give you some different ideas and variations of how you can do different types of combinations.
There are many different ways to do a hand combination. We're going to do the same hand combination we did before, side by side to the front. And we'll demonstrate. Hey! Cha cha cha! Yai ta! And again. Ha! Cha cha cha! Yai ta! And that's the basic to the front, side by side hand combination. Now we're going to do the same hand combination, but only to the side. Now, Daniel Sterling is going to step back a little bit so you can see me from the front view because we're to the side. If I was completely behind him, you wouldn't be able to see me at all. So I'm going to step forward a little bit more. We're going to be off center just a little bit, and we're going to do the same basic hand combination only to the side. And ready? Hey! Cha cha cha! Yai ta! And one more time. Hey! Cha cha cha! Yai ta! And that's your side-by-side combination to the side.
Okay, now what we're going to do, same combination, what we're going to do kind of like a mirroring theory. We're going to go opposites. So Matt's going to do the combination starting with his left. I'm going to do this combination starting with my right. And what this is just another option, give you a different look to your form. So we're set. Ha! Ta! Again, we're set. Ha! Ta! So So now what we're going to do is I'm going to switch to the left side. Matt's going to switch to his right side. So we're doing the same thing. We're going opposites, but doing the same combination. Set. Ha. Ta. Set. Ha. Ta. Okay? And again, that's just another way of doing your combination just to change up the look of your form. Okay, another thing to make sure is that you have enough space between you and your partner. You don't want to be so close that you're on top of each other, okay? You want to have a decent amount of distance, but not too far, because then what happens is the judges are having to do this. They're like, okay, I keep my eye on this guy, then this guy. And then what that does is it gives you a little bit of advantage, but not a great advantage. The advantage that you have is that if one person is off and they happen to not look at that person, you might get away with it. But you got like 5 or 6 judges, so somebody's probably looking at one or the other. Disadvantage is that it's a synchronized form. So the more you're together and they can see you two together as a group, the easier it's going to be for them to decide whether you are, in sync or you weren't in sync. And then when it comes to comparing you to another team, it's a little easier for them to have to choose. Okay, now what we're going to do, same combination, still doing the mirroring type of opposite thing. What we're going to do is we're going to do the same combination instead of straightforward. We're going to move it to the angle. So I'm going to do the right side, Matt's going to start on his left side, and we're going to go out to the 45s. I'm going to hit this 45, Matt's going to hit this 45. Here we go. So we're set, same combination. Ha! Ta! Set. Again. Ha! Ta! 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 Okay? Again, keeping in mind, I can't see Matt at all now, okay, because now I'm going out to this side, he's going to this side, and we're not even spinning the same way. We're spinning total different ways. So I really have to rely on listening to Matt, hearing what his body's doing, the sounds that he's making with his mouth, okay, at the same time, the timing issues, I've got to listen for everything, what his feet are doing, the sounds of his gi popping, all those little things come into play. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to switch sides. So I'm going to do my left, same angle, Matt's going to do his right to the same angle. And we're set. Ha! Ta! Ha! Ta! Ya! Ta! And set. Ha! Ta! Ha! Ta! Ya! Ta! Again, just a different way of doing the same thing, but making it look very different by the way you're facing or the side that you start on.
Now the last variation we're going to do is going to be the same combination as we just did before, but only we're going to do a different variation. Mr. Sterling is going to go that way, and I'm going to go this way. And he's going to chop punch on his right side, and I'm going to chop punch on my left side. And we're going to do the same combination, we'll just be going in opposite directions, complete opposite directions. Ready? Hey! Cha, 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 yai, ta! Now notice I'm with my left leg in front, and he has his right leg in front. Now if we want and we turn over into a knife hand block facing each other, this will set us up into another running pass, kicking combination, hand combination that you could add into your form. Another way to do it would be to do the same 2 directions, but only if Mr. Sterling did it on his left side and I do it on my right side, we just switched. So let's try that. Ready? Hey! Cha, 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 yai, ta! And one more time. Hey! Cha, cha, ya, cha, ah! And then if we want, we can step over this way and we can set up for another kicking combination, hand combination, running pass. It just depends on which leg we would like to go in front, depending if I want to kick on my right side, my left side, if he wants to kick on his left side or his right side. So it all depends on what you want to do. So that's the last variation we have for you, and you could do it 2 different ways.
Okay, now what we're going to do is move on to kicks. We're going to just show you a simple combination, give it to you a couple different ways, and then, again, you can pick and choose, do whatever you want. You don't have to do it the exact way we're doing it. We're just giving you options and giving you kick combinations, and we're going to help you understand how to make your kicks look similar. So we're going to start from our guard stance here. Ready? Ha! Ta! Okay, now we're going to do this from the sides coming in. Okay, out, same sides. So when we do this, we're going to be opposites when we come out because he's facing me, I'm facing him. So when we feel, the kicks are going to go like towards each other in a sense. Here we go. Ha! Ah! Okay, again, just a different look. When we did it this way on that same side, okay, it all went the same way. So that's one way of doing it. When we did it this way, it could be just as a filler. You know, all depending on what you want your form to look like. It doesn't have to be this kick combination. This is just one of the many that we just want to give you an idea of.
The next kick combination we're going to do, we're going to mirror each other. So just like with the chop punches before, but only with kicks. Now Mr. Sterling's going to stay with his left leg in front, and I'm going to take my right leg and bring it in the front, and we're going to do skip front, jump front, mirroring each other. Hey! Cha! Yeah! Ta! And that was skip front, jump front, mirroring each other. Notice we were in the air, we jumped pretty high, he was a little higher, but we both land at the same time. You have to time your partner so you both land at the same exact time, and both kick at the same time. Doesn't matter if one's a little higher and one's a little lower, but if they both kick at the same time and land, it's good.
Okay, now we're going to move on to a hook aerial combination. This is kind of doing more of a flipping move instead of doing kicks. What we're going to do is show it two ways. Okay, first way, we're going to do it on the same side. So I'm asking to be a little bit in front of me so that we don't clash. You want to make sure you got good distance. You do not want to kick each other. That's a very bad thing. Okay, from the cue. Ha! Good. Now another way we're going to do it is going to be going towards each other. Now when we do this, we're going to be on opposite sides. That's how Matt did on his bad side, went on my same side. Now we're going to go alternates. So we're set, same theory, but coming more towards each other. Ha! Okay, again, this is just an option. If you want more of a crossing look, then you want to go with that. You want to go opposite sides, go into each other. If you want more of a completely together side-by-side effect, then you would go, of course, with the first option. But again, it's your choice. You know, play around with your forms and make it something that you really enjoy.
The next kick combination we're going to do is shuffle axe kick, jump crescent kick, jump front kick. We're going to mirror each other. Mr. Sterling is on my left, and I'm on the right side. Ready? Hey! Cha! 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 And now let's switch sides. So we're going to do the same thing, but only now I'm on the left and he's on the right. And now this time, instead of kicking out away from each other, we're going to kick in towards each other. Hey! Cha! 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 Ha! And that was the same kick combination, but only I was on the left and he was on the right.
Okay, now another tip we want to give you is how to keep your kicks in sync. Now, what we've been working with pretty much from the start was that I jump a little bit higher on certain moves. There's a lot of moves like twists and stuff that we're like dead even on. But these type of moves where we jump off 2 feet, sometimes I'm a little higher. Sometimes we're at a point in the form where I'm tired and I don't really have to worry about the distance, okay? One of the ways we came about doing this was I would just kick faster. Okay, so I'd jump and do it as comfortable as I am with it, but kick faster and work off his timing, okay? So you may have to do that sometimes. Sometimes, you know, it may not be an issue. It all depends on the person that you're working with, the kick that you're doing. When we do like 540s and stuff like that, it's never a problem, but a move like this. Another thing is you need to watch each other's movements. So little things like hand positioning, right? If your hand positions is different, then right away you're off, okay? It's something very simple, but right away you're off. The way you move your feet on the shuffle has to be the same. So you need to study each other's movements, know the theory of the kick, and believe it the same way. From your shuffle to the way you lift your leg, your toe positioning on the kick completely, everything, all that comes into play because when you're watching it, all you're seeing is 2 people moving and you want it to look as though you're all one in a sense, okay? So from the way you step in, the way you jump, where your arms are when you jump, all those little things come into play, especially when you do long kick combinations because, you know, you're getting tired. Someone could have a misplacement of a foot and that throw off the whole combination. So you really have got to drill your kicks in a sense of, you know, mastering the way you guys move as a group. What you do as an individual is great, but remember it's a synchronized team form, and what you do together is what's going to get you that win.
The next kick we're going to do is the 720. It's a little bit more difficult, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it on the same side. Right legs in front. Ready? Hook 720. Hey! Cha! Cha! Ha! And one more time. Hey! Cha! Cha! Ha! Now we're going to go one step further and make it more extreme, and we're going to add a rise to that combination. So we're going to go hook, 720, rise. Ready? Hey! Hey! Cha! Cha! Hiya! And one more time. Hey! Cha! 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 Hiya! And that's hook 720 rise with a punch.
Okay, now, another reason to think about a combination like this is that you're in the air so much longer when you're doing more rotations. So this is a lot harder, brings your difficulty level way up because now you're doing a much difficult combination or much difficult kicks, but at the same time, you're doing them together. So anything you do like individually, you know, it's impressive by itself, but when you can stay together, it's on a whole nother level because, you know, it's really hard to stay together on simple things like a chop punch, switch punch, little things like that, simple kicks, shuffle axe, stuff like that. But now we're taking it to another level, more extreme level with some of the harder rotation kicks. This has been one of the things that have made us so successful throughout the years is that when we came out, we were on a mission to basically take synchronized forms to a whole nother level by pushing all the difficulty and bringing that out. And now when you watch today, that seems to be the big thing. Everyone kind of bringing that difficulty into it and making, you know, the sport just that much more fun. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to do some combinations utilizing some hand techniques along with some kicking techniques. Some that we've already done and some that are just going to be a little different to give you more options for what you want to do with your forms. Okay, so we're set. What we're going to do is we're going to start going opposite sides and then I'll explain why when we finish. Ah! Set. We'll do that one more time. Ah, ta, ta, ah, ta, ta, ah. Now the reason we started going inward, so in other words opposites, was because Matt's best kicking leg is his right leg. A lot of his kicks he just happens to do going with his best rotation side, which would be going towards the left. So some of his spinning kicks are with his left, but for these types of kicks, his best leg is right. Now when you're doing team forms, it's very important that you both show your best sides. You don't want to just stay one person on the good side, one person on the bad side. You've got to kind of show both of your strengths. So why we did it this way was so that when we got to the kicks, I would be on my strong side and he would be on his strong side. Yet another thing you want to think about, sometimes you may want to do the exact same side the whole way. Sometimes you want to change it up so that, you know, it gives a different look. Sometimes the kicks look better when we peaked our kicks on the inside. Sometimes it looks a little different when you peak them on the outside. You know, we had our kicks coming in, then out on some different combinations. So it really depends on the combination and what you're looking to do. Again, just more options.
Now we're going to do kick and hand combination number 2. Ready? Hey! Ta ta cha 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 ta ya ta ya ta ta sai ta. And again. Set yourself and hey! Ya ta 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 ya ta ya ta ya ta ah! Now it's hand and kick combination number 2.
Okay, what we're going to do in this next combination is basically change up everything. We're going to use different angles, all types of different movements, different type of kicking, you know, moves, all types of different things to basically throw a curveball at, you know, the norm, the straightforward pattern, the side-to-side pattern. We're just going to give you something totally different to think about when you're creating something, you know, something for yourself, something that's unique. Set. Ha! Ta! Ta! Ha! Yeah! Ta! Ta! Ha! Ta! Yeah! Ta! Ah! Okay, now we're going to do this from a different angle. Set. Ha! Ta! Ta! Ha! Yeah! Ta! Ta! Ha! Ta! Whoosh! Ah! Okay, what we did on this combination was basically throw something very different. When we started our team form, we wanted to be different. We wanted to not only take it to another level with like the extreme stuff, but at the same time, do something that you just didn't see every day to kind of give us another edge. So what we did was, playing around, we actually just started throwing moves at each other. And we were like, hey, that might be kind of cool. Next thing you know, we were thinking of a pattern that would flow. What we did on this one was we did kind of I went low, he went high. He went low, I went high type of thing. And trade it off. Doing different types of techniques, not just your punch, chop, punch, spin, chop, punch type of thing. You know, we use like different hand techniques, you know, using the back of the wrist instead of just a punch or a chop. Different things, just making it something that was our own. You know, we got a very good response from it, and a lot of people try and do it today. What I do recommend, if you're gonna do something like this, don't get carried away with like a self-defense skit. You know, don't go out there and start sweeping and taking people down, or going, you know, taking it to an extreme where you're like doing, I don't know, 30 seconds of a fight skit. You know, it's kind of overkilling it. It's still a synchronized form. It's not a team demonstration competition. It's a synchronized form. And what is important is that what you do is together. What we're doing is still staying together. Our moves are synchronized in the same moves, but different levels of it, different angles, okay? If I go low, he's going high at the exact opposite angle, so we're still creating a line, okay? So it's not just anywhere that we're throwing these techniques. There's a whole purpose for everything we did. So again, just some of the things you can do with your team form to make it your own and make it special to you.
Hand and kick combination number 4. It's a little different than combination 3. And let's try, ready? Hey! Cha cha yeah! Yeah! Ta! Cha! Cha! Ha! Ta! Aya! All right, let's try from a different angle. Ready? Hey! Cha cha yeah! Yeah! Ta! Ha! Hey! Cha! Yeah! Cha! Hiya! Now it's combination number 4.
Okay, on this next combination, what we're gonna do is, it's gonna be a pretty long combination, pretty much longer than any combination we've done already, just to kind of give you an idea of how to link one combination to another. Also in this combination, we're gonna do a lot of high and low movements in the sense of we're gonna go from jump kicks to splits, from splits to kip ups, giving you a different range of things to do. Remember, when you do stuff like this, again, pushes your difficulty level up because you're moving for a longer period of time. The longer period of time you're moving for and going from, say, a high to a low to a jump to a sweep or whatever that is, you're definitely going to increase your difficulty because you're staying in sync that entire time. Okay? Set. Ha. Ah, ha. Ta, ta. Ha, ha. Ha, ta, ta, ha. Ah. One more time from the top. And set. Ha. Ah, ha. 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 Ta. Ha. Ha. Ta. Ha. Okay, as you can see, we did a lot of different things on this combination, bringing up the difficulty by staying together for a longer period of time, at the same time doing different types of hand techniques to keep it interesting. You know, when you do the same thing, it gets repetitive, everybody's gonna chop punch, everybody's gonna spin chop punch, so find any way possible to make your performance different and stand out from your competitors. Again, by doing combinations with your kicks, longer combinations, forces you to stay together longer, at the same time putting pressure on most people who are gonna do very short combinations to stay together because it's simpler. You know, doing hook 720, simpler than doing 5-4 split, swing, kip, and then into something else. We wanted to keep it moving. Again, this is one of the ways that we stayed ahead of the game. So you want to keep that in mind when you're trying to do your creative forms. You don't want to just go along with the trend. You want to try and think ahead of the pack for that next generation of what they might be doing. You know, as long as you're ahead of the game, you're always going to be on top.
I hope you enjoyed rock solid synchronized team forms. I'm Matt Emick, and you can reach me at mattemmick.net.
And I'm Daniel Sterling. You can reach me at danielsterling.net. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the grands.